Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhi
Radha Krishna
Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Prahlad Nrsimha Jaya Prahlad Nrsimha Prahlad Nrsimha Jaya Prahlad Nrsimha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Om Vishwabhada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stottarah Shri Juan Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadresha Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashuki Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 20, text number 7 and 8. Text number 7 I read myself. Evam vagrashavaha prashtha rashibhirnaimisha yanaihi bhagavati arpitadhyatma tan aha shutayam iti. Translation. On being asked to speak by the great sages of Naimisharanya, the son of Romaharshana, Suta Goswami, whose mind was absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, said, "Please hear what I shall now speak." Text number 8. Suta uvacha हरेः धृता क्रोड धनोः स्वमायया हरे धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया हरे धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्या गो उद्धरणं रसातला निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतं लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतं लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतं सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिम् आह भारतः सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिम् आह भारतः सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिम् आह भारतः सूत उवाच हरे धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्य घोरोद्धरणं रसातला लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतम् सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिम् आह भारतः सूत उवाच हरेः धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतम् सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिम् आह भारतः सूत उवाच हरेर्धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला लीलां हिरण्याक्षम् अवज्ञया हतम् सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिमाह भारतः स उवाच हरे धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला अवज्ञया हतम् सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिमाह भारतः सूत उवाच निशम्य घोरुद्धरणं रसातला लीलामरण्याक्षमज्ञया हतम् सञ्जातहर्षो मुनिमाह भारतः सूत उवाच हरेर्धृतक्रोडतनोः स्वमायया निशम्य घोरोद्धरणं रसातला लीलामिरण्याक्षमज्ञया हतम् Dhanjata harsho muniyaha bharataha. What meaning? Sutaha uvacha. Suta said, Harehe of the Lord, Dhrita, who had assumed Kroda of Vibhu, Tanoho, body, Swamayaya, by his divine potency, Nishamya, having heard, Goho, of the earth, Uddharanam, uplifting, Rasatala, from the bottom of the ocean, Leelam, sport, Hiranyaksham, the demon Hiranyaksha, Avajñaya, neglectfully, Hatam, killed, Sanjata, Sanjata Harshaha, being overjoyed, Munim, to the sage, Maitreya, Aha, said, Bharata, Bharataha, Vidhura. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji. Translation, Sutta Goswami continued, Vidura, the descendant of Bharata, was delighted to hear the story of the Lord, who having assumed by his own divine potency the form of a boar, and enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. Vidura then spoke to the sage as follows. Translation with the repetition. Sutta Goswami continued, Vidura, the descendant of Bharata, was delighted to hear the story of the Lord, who having assumed by his own divine potency the form of a boar, had enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. Vidura then spoke to the sage as follows. Purport. It is stated here that the Lord assumed the form of a boar by his own potency. This form is not actually the form of a conditioned soul. Conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of higher authority of material laws. But here it is clearly said that the Lord was not forced to accept the form of a boar by the external power. In Bhagavad Gita, the same fact is confirmed. When the Lord descends to this earth, he assumes a form by his own internal potency. The form of the Lord therefore can never consist of material energy. The Mayavada version that when Brahman assumes a form, the form is accepted from Maya is not acceptable, because although Maya is superior to the conditioned soul, she is not superior to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She is under the control of Supreme Godhead. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya is under his superintendence. Maya cannot overcome the Lord. The Mayavada idea that the living entity is the supreme absolute truth but has become covered by Maya invalid. Maya is invalid because Maya cannot be so great that it can cover the Supreme. The covering capacity can be employed on the part and parcel of the Brahman, not on the Supreme Brahman. The sense of Bhakti Vedanta Par. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshulmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Bhavshanjadishadalini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Ghoda Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam, the chapter conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, the chapter. Previous chapter was Lord boar is killing the Hiranyaksha. That was the first time. Sutta Goswami narrating the history of battle between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha Deva. So after narrating that first time is the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. And after the completion of that narration, immensely Vidura, all the sages in Naimisharanya are pleased by hearing from Sutta Goswami. After completing the narration, Shaunaka, the head of the sages at Naimisharanya, inquiring furthermore from the Sutta Goswami. So Bhagavata is full of conversation between the great devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. So first time was the previous chapter was Varaha lifted the earth from the bottom of the ocean, and for the Lord it is sport. Lord was, for him, lifting a earth is a sport, like how we will play volleyball. Like that for the Varaha, Lord Varaha is a sport. Is lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean. And in that activity, Hiranyaksha came and stopped Varaha Deva. That what Hiranyaksha is killed by Varaha Deva. And the Shaunakadi Rishi, they heard from the Sutta Goswami, this is a great pastime, and very much pleased. Afterwards, Shaunaka is asked Sutta Goswami, because before this chapter was of the creation, all the planets, the Brahma has created all the living entities. Swayambhuva Manu has given a responsibility. Shishi Radha Krishna Chandranita Gauranchi. Responsibility of the rule, the earth. So that's the reason Shaunaka is asking how Swayambhuva Manu is ruled. After, because when Brahma has asked Swayambhuva Manu to rule the earth, when Swayambhuva Manu, see, earth was not in a place. It was shifted from its place, and it was not there. So then they inquired from Brahma. Swayambhuva Manu requests Brahma. Then Brahma understood that it was the bottom of the ocean. Then they offered the prayer of the Lord. That was Varaha appeared and he lifted and placed. Now the Shaunaka is asking, okay, after place the earth back, then how Swayambhuva Manu is ruled? And what is the most important? To benefit of the people, to elevate in the spiritual path. How Swayambhuva Manu is ruled the earth to help the common people to elevate in the spiritual life. That was the question asked. Then further he continued. You ask this question, then further he continue. Then Savanaka is glorifying. Shaunaka is glorifying Vidura for of his good great qualities. Vidura has left his palace. Association of Dhritarashtra and his association, because they are disagree with the Lord's decision. So Vidura left the palace. That was the greatness of the Vidura. That's what Shaunaka is telling. Because those people are not decision of the Lord, they are not appreciating. One who is not appreciating the Lord's decision, such a person is not good to associate. That's the reason Vidura left and went away. Then further qualification, Shaunaka is quoting. Vidura is not the ordinary person, is the son of Vyasadeva. So, and also the friend of the Lord, also devotee. Then after the Vidura left the home and passed on to all the pilgrimage places and purify himself. And finally met at Haridwar. He met Maitreya Muni at Haridwar and inquired from the Haridwar Maitreya Muni. So when Vidura met Maitreya Muni, he inquired from the Maitreya. That was the narration he already spoke to us. That means Vidura is furthermore he spoke or inquired from the Maitreya Muni. What is that? That what he has. So what is that? What furthermore narration of the Maitreya and Vidura? You speak to that about this, and that what Shaunaka is asking the Suta Goswami. And that was till now. Shaunaka, the previous shloka was Suta Goswami, all good fortune to you. Please narrate the activities of the Lord, which is all magnanimous and worth glorifying, and what sort of devotee can saturate it by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord. So, Lord's pastimes are so nectarian. Who is not don't want to listen? Who is tired of hearing such nectarian pastimes of the Lord? You please, she say, all good fortune to you, to Suta Goswami. Shaunaka is telling, oh Suta Goswami, all good fortune to you. You just narrate. So connect to this. The Veda Vyasa, who is our writer of the Bhagavatam, is telling, on being asked by the on being asked to speak the great sages of Naimisharanya, the son of Romaharshana Suta Goswami, whose mind is absorbed in the transcendent pastime of the Lord, said, please hear what shall I now speak. This today's verse. Yeah. On being asked to speak by the great sages of Naimisharanya, the son of Romaharshana Suta Goswami, whose mind was absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Now, always Bhagavata is reminding, you should hear a person who is absorbed in the Bhagavatam. You see? Whose mind is absorbed in the transcendental. Earlier also, this is where the Vyasa was telling about the Suta Goswami. Earlier, Shaunaka Muni is telling about Suta Goswami. Before that, Shaunaka is telling about the Vidura. All the personality are absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And such people's mouth be. Now, here, Prabhupada is writing, Suta Goswami is not born. In earlier chapter, it was a discussion where there is a narration in the first canto. In first Canto 18, chapter 18 verse, the translation, Sri Sutta Goswami said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in a birthright simply by serving and following the great, who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all the disqualification resulting from the lower birth. So Sutta Goswami is not born in a high family or some Brahmana family. Sutta Goswami born in a mixed caste. Mixed caste means the low born. Even though he is born in a low class, but he heard from the Sukadeva Goswami when Parikshit was hearing the Bhagavata from the Sukadeva Goswami. And that is the reason Sutta Goswami is telling, I am not qualified actually from birthright. I am not a Brahmana. Because of my association with the great sage, Sutta Goswami and Vedavyas, that's the reason birthright is not very important. Even when it takes the association of the pure devotee or association of the Bhagavata, is all disqualification will be vanish. And that is even my Sutta Goswami is not rejected me to hear the Bhagavatam. And he heard the Bhagavatam Sukadeva Goswami. Afterwards, so Prabhupada says the Sutta Goswami is the double benefit. What is the double benefit? He heard the Bhagavatam from the Sukadeva Goswami and he spoke the Bhagavatam at Naimisharanya to the Shaunakadi sages assembled at the Naimisharanya. So, hearing the benefit from the Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, and speaking the Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. This is a double benefit for the Sutta Goswami. So, such association is purified. Sutta Goswami did not take birth in a Brahmana family. He was born in a family of mixed caste, an uncultured low family. But because of the higher association like Shukadeva Goswami and the great rishis in Naimisharanya, certainly disqualification of the inferior birth was washed off. And even though born in our family, the sages of Naimisharanya not rejected the Sutta Goswami. Okay, you are not qualified, you don't want to hear. When Sutta Goswami immediately given the Vyasasana, they want to hear from the Sutta Goswami. And Prabhupada says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed. Doesn't matter a person is a brahmachari, sannyasi, brahmana, but one who knows the Guru, Krishna Tattva, such person is qualified to speak about the Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms. So, Sutta Goswami, even though he born in a low family, but he is qualified because he heard the Krishna Tattva from the great speaker and the great devotee of the Lord, Shukadeva Goswami. That all the disqualification is vanished. So, here, and Sutta Goswami's mind is absorbed in the transcendental passion of the Lord. So, we should hear a Bhagavatam from a devotee who was absorbed in transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And further, okay, this is what Vyasadeva is telling about the qualification of Sutta Goswami. Further, okay, many times he discussed this Sutta Goswami's qualification. Earlier also discussed. Again, reconfirmed about the Sutta Goswami's qualification. Again, the greatness of the every narration of the Bhagavatam is every step one devotee is glorifying another devotee. Every moment is from the very beginning you are seeing where the beginning of the conversation Shaunaka and Sutta Goswami Shavanakadi Rishi glorified Suta Goswami. After Suta Goswami glorified Shavanakadi Rishis. Like this, every step there is a glorification of the devotees. Here in the glorification, the devotees purifies. Okay. Now here, now Suta Goswami is speaking. Okay. Vyasadeva is given a platform. Okay. Suta Goswami is speaking. Suta Uvacha Harer Data Krodha Tanoha Swamayaya Nishamya Gror Uddharanam Rasatalat Leelam Harinaksham Avajyayahatam Sanjata Harsho Munim Aha Bharataha. The Suta Goswami continues. Vidura, the transcendent, Vidura, the descendant of Bharata. Descendant of Bharata means Vidura is born in Kuru dynasty. Because brother of Dhritarashtra. If one is born in the Vyasadeva, all are born from the Vyasadeva only. Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura, all are born to the Vyasadeva. So they are the born in the descendant of Bharata. That's the reason here. Descendant of Bharata was delighted to hear the story of the Lord, who having assumed by his own divine potency the form of the boar. So that about here, Suta Goswami is telling about the previous chapter, where Vidura heard from Maitreya Muni about the battle between the boar, Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha. And here Suta Goswami telling that the Lord taken the form of a boar out of his own, you say Swamayaya, out of his own free will is accepted Varaha form. It is not the force. So Prabhupada tells in a purport, it stated here the Lord assumed the form of the boar by his own potency. His form is not actually the form of the conditioned soul. A conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body by the higher authority of material law, but here is clearly said that the Lord was not forced to accept a form of a boar by the external power. So my Lord has taken a form of the boar. Out of his own free will, he accepted the form of the boar and did great Adbhuta karma. So lifting the earth. So Prabhupada also speaks here. In a Bhagavad Gita is confirmed. This fact is confirmed. So where Lord speaking to Arjuna, so Lord say, Evam parampara pratam iman rajarusho viduhu sakarena yogana. So this topic of Bhagavad Gita I spoke long back. So Arjuna's question is, how can I understand that long back? We are both our friends. You say that you spoke this knowledge to the earlier, lakhs of years back, to the verse 1. So what Lord say? Now we are not of now. We are there in the past. We are there, and we are also there in the future. But whatever is happened past, you are not remembering, but I remember everything. So Lord is not like a common human being like us. Whenever you take one more birth, the soul is give a body, one more accept a new body, whatever previous experiences we forget, but Lord is remember everything, past, present, in future also. That's right. Lord taking a form of a Varaha of his own free will, it not, because why we are forgetting? Because we are under control of law of material nature. We are taking a birth. We are accepting a new body because of our own karma. But when a Lord takes, he not accept a body out of karma or by the forced by the law of material nature. He is not forced by law of material nature. And his own free will for a particular purpose, he assumes a body. Because why Prabhupada say this? Because Mayavad is quote like, okay, when Lord takes a birth in this earth, so he also one among us, because he also under the control of Maya. So we are also God, because now we are under the control of Maya. Once you give up the control of that, then you also become one with the God. You also God. So Prabhupada is denying this. No, when Lord comes to this earth, he not comes under the control of Maya, because Maya is under the control of Lord all the time. The Maya is superior to the common human being, but Maya is not superior to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is Prabhupada makes very clear, taking the advantage of this particular verse. So here, when Lord takes a birth, he is not under the Maya. He is in the same potency as the original Lord, as a Krishna. So this the Lord taken a form of a boar and did this pastime. So now Vidura heard this from the Maitreya Muni, and killing of demon Hiranyaksha is not purpose. The purpose what Lord Varaha came to lift the earth. That was the request of the Brahma. Because earth is in the ocean, immersed in the ocean. That was Varaha Deva came to lift the earth. When the Lord is lifting the earth, Hiranyaksha come and stop him. That's the reason there is a fight between Varaha. That's it here say. Having assumed by his own divine potency, the form of the boar had enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. So here indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. The purpose was not killing the Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha came in between to oppose this. That's Hiranyaksha the Varaha has killed the Hiranyaksha. Okay. Now avajñaya, so leelam hiranyaksham avajñaya hatam. And this great history Maitreya Muni narrated to Vidura. So by hearing this narration, what do you say? Sanjata harsho munim aha bharataha. But so by hearing this narration, Vidura is delighted the history. So this pastime of the Lord, hearing this, Vidura is very much delighted. This is the greatness of Lord's pastimes. That's the reason great sages, great devotees always hear the Bhagavatam, because it is very pleasing to hear. So, all the great devotees taking pleasure in hearing the pastime of the Lord repeatedly. So, we should take this lesson always. The pastimes of the Lord are very pleasing. That was repeatedly, every step is the speaker of the Bhagavata is confirming. Unless one takes the pleasure in hearing the Bhagavatam, the perfection of spiritual life is not going to happen. The perfection of the spiritual life is taking pleasure in hearing the Bhagavatam. That was the example is given. Vidura is Sanjata Harsho. He is very much delighted by hearing the pastime of the Lord. So it is an endeavor of all the devotees all the time. How to increase the taste for the Bhagavatam and advanced in devotion service. Hearing the Bhagavatam, one is give up all the material attachment, and proper intention will be awake within. And once a proper vairagya or detachment is material will awake, rules and regulations of the devotion services are become immaterial. Rules and regulations of the devotion services become immaterial. So such devotees are very much disciplined in devotional practices. So one is spiritually advanced, is the spiritual practices will be very much disciplined. That's a meaning of it, right? So, for example, Shastra say, one is advanced in devotional practice, such person no rules and regulation to follow. Shastra say, right? One is advanced in the spiritual practices or advanced in the devotion service, such person not have any rules and regulations. The meaning means such person always follow all the rules and regulations with a lot of pleasure. For him there is no rules and regulations required. And such person is rules and regulation and very much discipline. So that means advanced in spiritual life brings a lot of discipline in life. And in other way, a person is very disciplined, need not be a spiritual man. A person is disciplined, need not be a spiritual man. But for the spiritual advancement, discipline is a mandatory. For advance in the spiritual life, discipline life is very, very mandatory. But someone is very disciplined in life, that doesn't mean that is a spiritually advanced. Because spiritual advancement, okay, discipline as well as develop the practice of the devotion service under the guidance of spiritual master. That is, there are many people who are not under the guidance of spiritual master that looks like very disciplined in life. That doesn't mean that okay, they are spiritually also advanced. So these are the guidelines in the Bhagavatam to take full benefit of these things and contemplating how I can advance and adopt these qualities. The great devotees are set for us to understand and advance in the spiritual life. And stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. बहुत अच्छा